Shalom Israel. Check your sound there if everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Put a 1 in the chat. This is Officer Kazak Shapar, Wednesday night law class with ISUPK. Start off 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, where we teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians make up and are indeed the 12th tribe of Israel. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. As a matter of fact, if it's not under Commanding General Yohanan since 1969, then you're simply not in the truth. Get a flyer. Get in the truth. ISUPK Israelite School of Practical Knowledge. And we're going to talk a little bit. The topic is going to be, we're going to talk a little bit about Esau, this enemy here, how he's violent against us. His nature is just always out against us. We're going to go over some. He's violent now. He's always been violent against us. Dragging a child in the street, macing her. Good, Tawab, good. Appreciate that, Officer Sharp. Grabbing a child in the street, macing her, and a 9-year-old child. How violent and wicked and vain can you be to be so? It ain't even ignorant anymore. It's on purpose, It's on purpose that these violent Esau, Edomites, and Idumea. You see, they're the ones who try to hide themselves in history and time here. They pick themselves up and say, "Oh, I'm not him. I'm not them." Well, we're going to expose Esau a little bit tonight here in South Carolina, ISUPK. We're going to show how violent he is. If you don't know and you just tuning in, you wonder, say, what are you talking about? I'm talking about Esau, the wicked, And then why is he violent against us? Why is he always violent against Jacob? Us, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, just in case you don't know, are the 12 tribes of Israel. We're considered as Jacob, see? The Most High has established us as the 12 tribes of Israel. And then in Esau, Edom, we're going to pick up and we're going to show you down through time how he has taken his violence and actions and tried to cut us in every way he could. He's a heathen. Let's get, sorry, I can slug here. Esau was violent, no remorse, no regard for our well-being. That's the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He is bent, racked, and demented with violent behavior that's unparalleled match to any one or animal for that matter. Even eagles take their time and eat their prey because they have to. They got to be violent. But this wicked Esau is violent simply because he lost his birthright. He eat a bowl of beans, we die. Simple as that. But that's what he is. We're going to show in the law class how we kept the laws even in our captivity. Daniel kept them. We'll show you what he did. Esther, Mordecai, and different people. And down we'll pick a little excerpts from there, and we'll show you how violent Esau was simply because we were trying to keep the law. So because he hates us, he despises us. His violent behavior is, and for that matter, Esau hates our people with a passion. Okay? And matter of fact, he used to be an enigma. That word enigma means really what it means is a puzzle. He used to be a puzzle, but until 1969, all the churches preached Esau. That's all they preached was white people until Commanding General Yohanan and the rest of the prophets and priests under 1969, we called them out. We found out who this rascal is. So you Esau, you Edom, you Idumea, So we know who you are. You always had a perpetual hatred against us. As a matter of fact, let's find out. Let's do that before we do that. Let's find out the water. We have some. Let's show you who we have in class first before we do that. We have Officer Shar. Perfect. I appreciate that, Officer. Trooper Sean, who's aspiring to be an officer coming up here real soon. We have Adrian always on time. We appreciate that. And for law class, and like I said, I'm Officer Kazak Shapar, and we're going to show you how Esau, all he really wanted to do was be vengeful, saying, I'll show Jacob. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show the hurt. He has no reverence. He don't keep our laws. But we keep our laws even in captivity. We had even Haman down through line. We had Herod. We had Daniel. We had all. And we'll talk about all these people. Daniel kept the prophets, the priests and prophets' laws, and then you had Haman was violent. We'll show you how he came on. He was part of Esau. We had Aaron. He was part of Esau. We had King Agag. We'll show you all of these because these are prominent figures. There's many more. I just want to pick up a few excerpts because there's no reason why a psychopath should be left on the street like this. A psychopath. He's got a mental disorder. He's got a lack of ability to love or establish a meaningful relationship, extreme eccentric. He can't help it. That's what he does. Because every day, all day long, we are in the street buried because of this rascal, because of Esau. His violent behavior has reached up to the Most High, and the Most High is showing us. He's telling us, we need to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, so that the Most High can come back and venge us for his violent behavior. So let's start out by finding out, how we even got into this captivity. Let's read a little bit in Lamentations 1 and 5 here. Let's read about that real quick here. Hold a minute. Salakia, while I get it here. Lamentations 1 and 5. Let's see what that says. Okay. There it is right here. Okay, there we go. Lamentations 1 and 5. We'll show you a little bit about how and where we are and on captivity, how we started off in captivity. Of course, we started off when the Most High in Deuteronomy 28 and all the way through the whole chapter 28. And I'll read another text in Lamentations, of course, show you how that we went through some things, some curses here. But let's show you a little bit why Esau has been put here basically to test us, for the kingdom. Lamentations 1 and 5, Salakia. It says, her adversaries are chief, her enemies prosper. For the Most High have afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. That's us. For her children are gone to captivity before the enemy. That's Esau. We're going in captivity, because we didn't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That's why we are in peril right now. We're in peril against a wild, wicked animal beast that doesn't keep the laws, and he kill us in the streets. That's a psychopath like that. The Most High had to tell you about it. He purposed in his heart to kill us, to take violence against us. So let's find out a little bit about Esau in Genesis 25 and 22. Let's find out a little bit about who he is. Let's see. Let's go to Genesis, because he's always trying to claim himself, trying to hide himself, saying, trying to morph into different. And we're going to bring these stories out. We're going to show you how he's surfaced in history. He's always trying to hide himself so people won't know who he is. So if people won't know who he is, then you can't blame him for nothing. See? But the Most High, I appreciate that the Commander General Yohana for sticking it out and showing our people on this side of 1969 where we are. On the ISUPK, stayed in there and told us so I can have a chance to understand and get to a forum so I can tell about these Edomites, about Esau, about how he's violent. about his violence against his brother Jacob. You know, let's turn to this right here. Okay, let's just read about it, where his start was. And of course, his start was a little bit before then, but we're going to give you a more, he has some more prominent starts. We'll give you a little start here. 25 and 22. Let's go to, 22. And the children struggled within her, she said. You know, Esau was born into a mother, Rebecca. That's the same womb that we came through, you know. The children of Israel, that's who the we are, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You had this Esau, this peculiar fellow. Let's find out a little bit about him. Let's find out where did his violence start when the Most High saw it ahead of time and he had to separate. Let's read about this here. And the Most High said unto her, Salakia, and the children, 25 and 22, and the children struggled together with her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Most High. Now this is Rebecca saying, man, why am I going through all of this back and forth? Why am I going through all this turmoil back and forth in my pregnancy here to find out what's going on? Because you got a wicked, violent person inside you. That's what it is. So let's find out here. Because the Most High told this story out, and let me tell it here out of the Bible. And if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Most High. Verse 23, and the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. Now that's 2 nations. Now you got 2 twins the first time, a miracle in itself. 2 nations. You know, you got one over here, one over there. And the Most High separated that. Badalka, B-A-D-A-L. Badal means to separate it. Made the separation right there. You say, you guys are separated. Badalka. The Most High did that. That was his. We're not going to get into why and all that, because in Romans 9 and I believe 13, he tells him that he can do what he needs to do. He's sovereign. Okay? And the Most High said, there are 2 nations in thy womb. 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one shall be stronger than the other. The elder shall serve the younger. Now, eventually, the elder came out as Esau. He's going to eventually serve the younger. Right now, we're serving. We just read it. And Lamentation 1 and 5, how we're gone into captivity. We'll read another text, Jeremiah 17 and 4, said we're going to have to serve our enemies. But this is where the separation began right here. This is, and we'll show you how his violence came through history, and he started here as Esau. Later on, he's going to become Edom, and then Idumea. In her day, verse 24, and when her days were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Okay? And the first came out red all over her garment, and they called his name Esau. That's what it is. And Esau, after this came out, his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 3 Isaac was what, 60, was 80 years when she bare him. Isaac was 60 years old, you know, and he had Jacob and Esau, of course. And let's turn another one, a text here. That's where Esau actually came from. He came from there. And the Most High saw that, you know, something that he needs to do for our sake, for the blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians, so we'll know, okay? Something he needs to do, and that's what he did. He separated us from Esau right there at birth. There's a separation there. So when you say twins, okay, all right, you know, one stronger than the other. We're not going to get into all of the things about that, because automatically we can go and prove all that. We just want to get into his violence and how he is and who he think he is to go around just dragging us in snow and putting George Floyd putting his neck on putting his knee on people's neck, shooting people in the back, you know, hunting our steps in the streets, like we are just animals. I mean, you know, but he's the animal. He's the violent, wicked nature. All we're doing down here is getting back to the Lord's statutes and commandments. And that's what if you're not, you need to come out of these churches and find yourself into the Lord's statutes and commandments, so the Most High can come down and put an end to this violence that we're going through all day long. All you got to do is keep the Lord's statutes and commandments. How hard would that be? How hard is that? How hard can you make it? Why do you make it so hard? It's that easy. So we'll go into this, what was it, Jeremiah 17:4. Let's see what it says. Let's find out a little bit here. Let's see, blah, 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 burn in. Okay, yeah. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue. See, this is what happened to us. Discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause you to serve thine enemies. That's how the Most High did it. We're serving Esau, Edom, Idumea right now. Okay, serve thy enemies in the land that's here in America, which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger. So we made the Lord angry when we didn't obey his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why we're doing this law class here tonight, to let you know that you need to get back to your heritage of doing what you're supposed to be doing, keeping the laws, statutes, commandments. That's what we did back in Israel, and that's what we're going to do right here, right now, in America, to get out of this place that they call Egypt, bondage, to get out of this trap that we're in. See, for ye have kindled my fire, which shall burn forever. Okay, the Most High understands that. He understands that we are here. We're going to serve thy enemies of lands which thou knowest not. And that's what happened to us again, because Esau is still at large. He's a wicked beast, and soon is going to be cut off. Now, what do I mean by at large? If anybody in the chat, y'all can type in the chat. What is that meant by when I say Esau? What did I say it here in the title? In the title, it says Esau has always been violent against our people, and he's still at large. Type in the chat. What do you think? We have Daquan here. Very good, young man. Daquan, type in the chat what you think still at large. What do you think I meant by that? What do you think that is? It's actually a term. When it says something still at large, what does that mean? Type in the chat right here. We'll give you a few seconds here. We want you to understand that Esau is a violent, wicked beast. Somebody was asking us in camp, who is the beast? What do you mean? The beast. The beast here in America is Esau. It's the devil. Is Esau. He's a violent, wicked beast. Okay? That's the mark. He's the mark of the beast. Don't succumb to him. Separate from him. That's basically what the Bible is trying to tell you. I want you guys in the chat to tell me, and here in the law class, tell me what does the title mean when it says still at large? In the end of the title right there, I said that Esau has always been he's always been violent against us, against our people, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And I say he's still at large. Type in the chat and tell me what that is. That's anybody. Anybody in the chat right now. Everybody that's in the chat, if you can tell me. I appreciate everybody being here on time. Officer Shar, Officer Shar, Aban, Adrian, Daquan, and many others. Show me and tell me what still at large mean. Give you a few more seconds, okay? Still at large. What does that mean? I'll give you guys some time. Give you about 15, 20 more seconds here. Y'all heard it when you hear... like to give you a little hint there when the police say, "Oh man, get an APB out on this dude, man. He's still at large." And that's what Esau is. So what does that mean? You say still at large. What does that mean? We'll look it up here. Okay. What does it mean to be still at large? Okay. Well, still at large, I'll go ahead and tell you for the sake of time's sake here. Still at large. We'll give you guys maybe another 15 seconds here. Just see if you guys can get it. Okay. Well, still at large mean that the person's still out there. He hasn't been caught. He's still wanted. He's still wanted. He's still there. And that's basically what the Bible is saying. Esau is still doing havoc, wrath, wants to be God. He's violent. And we're going to go over some of these things right here and show you. Let's find out. Esau is Edom, a little bit here before we get into. Okay, good. Officer Sharp, very good. Officer Sharp, just said, Lord, dwell amongst us, over us. That's right. Esau is still free to be a criminal. That's both of you exactly right. That's exactly 100% right. I give you both props on that for understanding that he's still a criminal. He's still at large. He's over us. He's over us. That's exactly right. At large, very good. He's over us. And unless we keep the Most High statutes and commandments, he's still going to be over us because of the prophecies that we're going to serve our enemies. All you have to do basically is get out of these churches and get off these streets and keep your house in order and keep the Lord's statutes and commandments. Okay, let's go, and we're going on further here to show you. Let's see here. We're going to go Hebrews. Yeah. Hebrews 12. Let's go to Hebrews 12 and 16. A lot of things we can go through here. Let's go there. Let's find out why this rascal feels that he wants to be angry and still at large against the children of Jacob. All we have to do is keep the commandments, and of course we'll show you in captivity what we did. A lot of us, we're in captivity right now. So the same thing Daniel did, same thing Esther did, Mordecai did, these figures, these prominent figures in the Hebrew Israelite, Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians, the same thing we should be doing. If you're not supposed to be eating the king's meat and all these different things, we'll get into that. The Most High expects you to do the same thing too, to keep the laws of the Most High. So let's turn to Hebrews 12 and 16. Let's find out a little bit why. Let's see. 12 and 16. 12 and 16. Let's go from there. Yeah. Okay. Why Esau? What was some of the things he did? He was profane, and we're going to look that definitions up because, let's see, where I go here with this thing. Yeah, there you go. All right, we'll read that here. Yeah, lock it up. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, Esau is a profane person, and let's read the text here. All right. Lest there be any fornicator, we're out of Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat, he sold his birthright. He sold his birthright. So he became famed, he became profane, he became mean, raggedy, all over the place. The Most High saw that this would happen. He saw that Esau would go through a whole lot of violence against us, and for he in this text here, in Hebrews, he tells you exactly why Esau is a profane person. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat, man, some red stew meat, He sold his birthright. He despised it. He didn't want it. He despised that birthright. So he's wrathful. He knew after he had sold it for a little morsel of meat, he realized that, man, I got to be violent against this Jacob all day long now. I got to be violent. Just in case you want to know why he's profane, he sold his birthright and he's mad. He's angry, He's angry because he realized what he's done. He's given off his birthright. Let's turn to Genesis 27:41. Let's read a little bit of Genesis 27 and 41. Let's find out a little bit more here. Genesis 27:41. Let's find out a little bit more about the story. Okay, here. And Esau, we're at Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessings wherein his father blessed him. See, he hated Jacob. Hatred. Violence is going to come out of hatred. That's why you see people being pepper sprayed in the street. You saw us back in the 60s being beat side the head. You saw us all over the place. Down through the tunnels and annals of time, you saw that Esau did nothing but violence against us. Let's finish reading. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessings wherein his father blessed him. See, Esau hated Jacob because Jacob was blessed by his father. Now Esau got some blessings, but he didn't get the one he wanted. And this is what it is. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother. Mark that down. That's Esau. That's Esau. One of his. We like to say that Cain, the first murder, he killed him, and so he got passed on down to Esau. That same spirit. That's where it is. But let's read this again. And Esau hated Jacob because of blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother. That means he means business. He means he's going to be violent. He's going to do whatever it takes to take Jacob out of here. And Jacob are the 12 tribes of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He said, I'm going to take him out of here. See, he's taking my birthright and giving me a bowl of beans. What? He took that morsel of meat. That's his problem, that red stew meat. Let's finish reading. 27:42. That's why you ought to be careful. You ought to hear the conclusion of the whole matter. But he didn't have none of that on his mind, just hungry. Out there smelling like a beast, being a beast, the beast that he is, being the angry person that he is, turning red, and said to himself, he's mad. I can see him right now, just mad as a beehive. Ate that meat, but by the time he probably was still tasting it in there when he sold his birthright. Let's finish 27 and 42, Genesis. And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son and said it to him. Now check this out right here. Check this out. Behold, thy brother as touching thee. That means doth comfort himself. Somebody write in the chat and tell me, purposing to kill thee. He comfort himself. He wants to touch thee. Tell me what that means when he says touching thee. Let's read it again. Behold, thy brother, let's read from the top. And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son. That's us, 12 tribes of Israel, Jacob. And said it to him, behold, thy brother Esau, red Esau, hairy all over, as touching thee, doth comfort himself. Tell me what you think that mean in the chat here. Purposing to kill thee. Purpose touching thee, doth comfort himself. What do you think that mean? What kind of evidence that you think that means? When she said, when Rebekah said, Look here. Behold, thy brother, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. What does that mean? Uh, you guys look it up. We'll give you a few seconds here. What does it mean? Purposing to touch Esau, to comfort himself. What are you going to do? Lull him to sleep? You know, what does that mean? What does that mean that Rebekah was saying? You mean to tell me that Esau was going to throw him a party? What does that mean? Touching him and comforting him. Let's find it out. Let's look in the chat. Just type a few lines in there. What you think that is? Purposing touching him. What does that mean? You know, he's profane. You know, is he gonna say, "Oh, I'm touched"? You know, I'm I'm touched and I'm crying here and I'm hurt, but I'm touched. What does it really mean by touching him and comforting himself, or is comforting in knowing that, you know, my brother stole my birthright, I'm all right, but I'm tawab with it, I'm good with it. What does that really mean? What is he really trying to say here in Genesis 27:41? Because he never stopped hating us, you know. He never stopped hating us. What does it mean? What does that in particular mean? Okay, Shar said, let's see, Bree checking in, glad to have you. Sean here. Shar said, Officer Shar said, he was bloodthirsty. He will be pleased to see Jacob. That's right. That's right, Officer Shar. He was bloodthirsty. He was pleased to see Jacob dead. That means when you touch somebody, say, look at it, man. We're going to have words. I'm going to touch you, bro. Y'all show me up sharp. That means touching you. When you let me get the comments of one of our officers here. When you touch your brother out in the street, brother, what does that mean? When you touch your brother out in the street, officer, what does that mean? You say you're gonna touch him.
Oh, that means you about to throw hands. You about to fight.
You about to fight. You violent, right? You ready. You ready to do some harm to this brother. And that's what Esau did. He said, look at here. Say, Rebecca said, look, by touching them, and then it says, it's going to comfort him. Let's read that again. That's very good, Officer Shaw. You got that right. Bria, we're glad you joined class. Let's go, what was that? Genesis 27:41. I'll read it again. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessings whereof his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, that I will slay my brother. Let's go down to verse 42. And these words of Esau, our eldest son, were told to Rebekah. You know, that's the mother who was all this pain of having this. Had this Esau just mad as all it can be. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said it to him, behold, thy brother as touching thee. In other words, as touching thee. In other words, I'm getting ready to throw down against this brother. Doth comfort himself. Now, what kind of, listen, it's comforting. Now, if you got to fight because you got to fight, I understand somebody broke in your house or somebody's trying to do violence against your daughter or your son. Okay, I understand. But this rascal, because he ate the bowl of beans, we died. He got to have comfort for himself. This is comforting to him to want to touch and kill us, because it says purposing to kill thee. He wanted to kill him. So it comforts him. What kind of person to go around want to fight all the time? Want to be violent all the time? That's what the mother said. The mother said, so basically, you're going to send him, says right here, now therefore my son, obey my voice and arise. Verse 43. Flee thou to Laban, my brother, and so when you go around touching and ready to throw down, he said, look here, this man, it's comforting in. Listen, Esau out here, when he put his knee on somebody's neck for how many minutes? 7. When he dragged a little girl in the street violently, and she said, screaming, saying, I want my father, pepper spraying her because he's violent. This is comforting to him. You know, this is not something that it's hard for me to even understand it. He's violent, so it's comforting to him. It's going to comfort him because he realized that, you know, he sold his He sold his birthright because he's always had a perpetual hate against us. Ezekiel 35 and 35. Sir, you have that? Ezekiel 35 and 35? If you get Ezekiel 35 and 35 for me. He's always had a perpetual hatred. He's always been a rascal that wanted to basically touch somebody, lay hands on us. Of course, we got to duke it out in the street. I understand that. That's fine. But should it be so to the point where you got to be, I understand fights can be violent, but you got to go around and just be violent and touching people and it be comforting to you? Man, I don't want to go around doing it. If I have to do it, I got to fight. I understand that. It's ISUPK. But if it's got to be to a point where it's comforting to you, you got some issue problem. You got some psychopath problems, Sir, if you could read that for me, sir.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
Wow.
In the time that their iniquity had an end. Right.
Con. The time of our iniquity had an end, this rascal still want to be comforted. He's want to be, it's comforting to him, almost like an eagle has taken some meat and scraped it off the wall there and said, oh, this is comforting to me. Like your comfort food. He kill us like it's a comforting food to him. That's how he sees violence in his mind or in his heart. That's how he sees it. Because we keep the laws, you see. We keep the laws of the Most High here in our captivity. And Esau's angry with that. He realized that he realizes his end is near. He realized all of that. But we'll keep reading here. It was comforting. Salakia. Genesis 27:45. Let's see. I'll read that one since I was on it right there. Since Esau's anger never turned. 45. Until thy brother's anger turned. Listen. The most. I'm Salakia. Rebecca was saying, look here. You go over here and stay at my brother's house. Until thy brother's anger turned from thee. Now you know that from the events that we've seen here the last years, 400 years of slavery here in America, does it seem like his brother's anger has turned away from thee? He's still violent to me, wicked beast. And, until thy brother's anger turned away from thee, and he forgot that which has done to him. He ain't forgot nothing. Then I will send and fetch thee from this. What should I be deprived of? Both in a day. So Esau hadn't forgot a thing. He still understands that he wants to be comforted from what was done to him. He really did it to himself by despising his birthright, That's the main thing. He was violent, and he still is. He's a psychopath, and he's still at large. Never turned from Jacob. After 6,000 years later, Esau is still at large. He's still wanted. He's still to the point where he won't give up. Esau is Edom, and later on he turned, of course, to Idumea. Find that in Ezekiel 35:15. We'll get that in a second here. Let's see. Let's go to kill Ezekiel 35 and I'm going to take vengeance. Ezekiel 35:5. He purpose in his heart. Let's find out a little bit more here. Ezekiel 35:5. That's right. That's right, Sharp. He's a damn dumb animal. That's what he is. Because it would please to see Jacob dead. That's exactly right. I agree with that, Sharp. Officer Sharp. He's an animal. He's wicked on this earth, and he would not give up because he is bloodthirsty. Like some eagle wants to go and grab a prey all the time. His purpose is in his heart to kill, to take violence. That's what he is. Let's find that out in Ezekiel 35 and 5. Let's see. Let's turn to Ezekiel. We got Ezekiel 35 and 5, sir.
Can I read it again?
Con, sir.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
Is that 35 and 5?
35 and 5.
Yeah. Did I give you the same one?
Okay, you get it to me the first time.
Oh. Yeah, I think so. Con, sir. Ezekiel 35 and 35. Well, let's hold off on that. We read that one before. But he has a perpetual hatred right there. Ezekiel. Let's go into let's go into a little bit about Daniel and how he had a problems. It's good to see our brothers come to class and understand what's going on. And have Ashah, Trooper Ashah. Sir. Here we go. Little Ashah to read a little bit here. Okay. All right. Yeah, Esau is still at large, and he's still a wicked, violent person purposing to kill Jacob every chance he get. Okay. Let's find out in time here. In Daniel, what did he do? Let's find out. There was a prophet named Daniel. Because Esau was violent against him. He was violent against him too. Violent against our prophet. Let's go to Daniel. We're going to try to take it up all through time from Genesis. Give me Daniel Daniel 1 and 8. Let's find out. Daniel 1 and 8. And Esau, we kept the law in the captivities in Assyria, in Babylon, after the kings, Belteshazzar wanted to kill us and wanted Daniel to do wickedly and eat the king's meat and eat the portion. Esau, Zalaki. We'll go with Daniel, but this wasn't Esau. It was just basically an Assyrian. We'll read about him too. Go to Daniel 1 and 8. What we're trying to discuss is the violence that has been done unto us. We'll start at Daniel, then we'll work our way up, and we'll grab back hold of Esau again. Daniel 1 and 8. What did Daniel do? See, because Daniel, what Daniel did, I want to read this for the sake, not so much that Esau did the violence against him, but what this is so that to show you that we kept the laws in captivity. That's why we have to keep the laws to get out of this mess that we're doing right now. So Daniel 1 and 8. Read that for me. Show you what Daniel was doing there. Go ahead.
Daniel 1 and 8. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself.
He would not what?
Defile himself.
He wouldn't what?
Defile himself. With the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the...
Okay, that's good now. See, Daniel, we kept the laws in captivity. If we keep these laws, we're getting closer and closer to keeping the violence to the Most High to come down here and end all this violence against us. All we have to do, Daniel basically didn't eat no swine because he didn't what? Read that again. He didn't defile himself. Read that. Start from the top there. Daniel 1 and 8.
Daniel 1 and 8. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat.
That's close enough. And basically, he was saying he didn't want to defile himself with the king's meat. See, they wanted Daniel to eat anything back then, but Daniel was showing them this is not any purpose in his heart. He had a purpose. He said, I didn't want to die. I didn't want to die of the Most High or break a law. It's a law, statute, and commandments in Leviticus that we eat not the swine or the portions of the king meat. And that's what we need to come back to the law, statute, and commandments to get this violence off of us. See? Read Daniel 6 and 11. We'll show you what was Daniel doing. We'll show you another law that we were keeping in captivity. We'll go on further. We'll show a little bit more. We'll show you another law that Daniel was doing in captivity. Daniel 6 and 11.
Okay.
These were the Syrians again. Like I said, they were violent against us also. But we're going to show you how we kept the laws in captivity. We're going to jump right back on Esau again, the most wicked, violent, profane person. Go ahead.
Daniel 6 and 11. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying.
Doing what?
Praying.
Say that again. Restart from the top.
Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying.
Found Daniel praying. Keep reading.
And making supplications.
Praying and making supplications. See, Daniel was praying, and that is a law. A lot of people say, oh, how is that a law? I want you to turn to Thessalonians 5 and 17. Let me show you how that's the Most High praying is actually something that you should be doing all the time. We're talking about learning how to keep the Most High commandments and not, praying. Yeah. What did I say? 1 Thessalonians 5 and 17. That's in the New Testament there. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 17. And what does the Most High say? See, when the Most High tell you something, we have to do it. When he says don't, in Leviticus, don't eat that pork, swine, a lobster, then here's another law that he's saying. 1 Thessalonians. You got it? Take it off to LeBron. He'll help you there. He'll show you. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 17. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 17 shows you another law when Daniel, when he was praying, he was found praying. A lot of people don't realize that's something that the Most High commands us to do. So we keep laws, statutes, and commandments. Commanding General Hannah requires us to do that because the Most High requires us to do that. That's what we do there. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 17. So what Daniel was doing, he was praying. So what does the Most High require us to do? Go ahead.
1 Thessalonians, you said 5 and 17. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 17.
Okay.
Pray without ceasing.
Pray without what?
Ceasing.
Say that again.
Pray without ceasing.
Pray without ceasing. That means your whole life should be a continual prayer. That is a commandment. That's a law. That's a statute. That is what I'm saying. The Most High says pray without ceasing. He's commanding you to do that. Pray without ceasing. You just don't go up and just assume, oh, Lord, you got my back. The Most High said what? Read that again.
Pray without ceasing.
Pray without ceasing. That means if you cease, means to stop. In other words, pray, don't stop. That's what it's really saying. Pray without. Now, does that really mean that you go to the street and pray like the synagogue, like the Pharisees do? No, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that your connection with the Most High, your mind, your understanding with him, you should be in a prayerful understanding. Your spirit will change when you pray. And the Most High, because he's going to answer that for you in one way. Could be good, could be bad. But the Most High, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Basically, make it a habit.
Make it a habit. That's right. Exactly right. Make it a habit. It's very good. Get what's this? A Shah? Give a Shah a hand. That's right. Make it a habit. That's exactly right. You should be making it a habit to pray without ceasing. And that's what Daniel did. See, we're down out in the streets. We're down out in the streets because our steps have been hunted. We're killed all the day long. Turn to Romans 8 and 36. We're killed all the day long because we simply, we don't pray without ceasing. We sitting up here eating all of the bad foods, pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and we don't pray without ceasing. The Most High wants you, he's trying to tell you how to get back in his good graces. That's all we have to do is come back to the Lord's statutes and commandments. You got that text for me? What you got there? Romans 8 and 36? Read that for me, sir. Read.
Romans 8 and 36. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long.
All the day long. Keep reading.
We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter.
That's good enough. And start from top. Read that again.
Romans 8 and 36. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long.
All the day long. Man, we are killed all the day long. And finish reading.
We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter.
As sheep for the slaughter. killed all the day long. Turn to Psalms 38 and 12 there. See, we killed all the day long. That's because that's the curse that we're under. Because our enemies, we here in this Babylon, in this wicked place where Esau is caught to do violence against us. You know, Psalms 38 and 12. Esau's violent against us all day long. What you have there? Read 38 and 12, Psalms.
Psalm 38 and 12.
Uh-huh.
They also that seek after my life lay snares for me.
Lay snares. Go ahead.
For me. And they that seek my hurt speak mischief. Yes, like it. Mischievous. Things and imagine deceit all the day long.
All the day long. See, all the day long we're killed. All day, every day.
That's it.
That's it. All day. Psalms knows it. What's the last one I gave you? Romans said it. We're killed all the day long. Then all we have to do is come back to the Lord's statutes and command. We killed all day long. And because Lamentations 4:18 said we died in the streets. He's hunting our step. Lamentations 4:18. We're hunting the street. We killed all the day long. We're going to get in here. After Daniel, we're going to get here a little bit further, and we're going to go and show you, get back to Esau, show you how he's still wicked and violent. And all we have to do is keep the Lord's statutes and commandments. You know, that's what he wants us to do, because he is violent. The Most High will stop this violence, put it to an end. And Obadiah will find out how the Most High is going to come down here and with chariots and stop this violence against us. Stop what Esau has started. Stop what he's continuously burning and beating us and pepper spraying us all day long. Read that.
Lamentations 4 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
They hunt our steps.
They do what?
Hunt our steps.
They do what?
Hunt our steps.
They hunt our steps that what?
We cannot go in our streets.
We can't even go in our streets. Well, go ahead. Our end. Go ahead.
Our end is near.
Our end is near. Isn't that something? That's close enough, bro. Our end is near. So, you know, what you got to do is, now that you know that your end is near, all you got to do is just stay in the purpose of keeping the Most High, pray without ceasing, and getting these commandments, get out of these Christian churches. And you won't have to deal with a whole lot of things that go on with the psychopath. And even if you did, you know, you the Most High's got your back against this being that wants to kill you all the time. Okay, let's go to let's find out a little bit here. First Samuel. Okay. Esau still trying to hide at 1 Samuel 15 and let's see. I think it's 9 here. I can't read my right here. Okay. Let's find out who Amalek was. Let's find out, because Esau surfaces again. You know, he's going through Esau, Edom, and Idumaea, and then he's surfacing himself. He started off in Cain, found himself in the womb, coming out violent because he ate a morsel of meat, and he's violent against the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Okay, 1 Samuel 15 and what I say, 9?
Okay.
Read that. Let's see what that says.
1 Samuel 15 verse 9.
Uh-huh.
But Saul and the people spared Agar,
Mm-hmm.
and the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fatling, and the lamb, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them.
Okay, right. See, the Most High told Saul to destroy every last one of them. Let's get this here. Let's find out. Let's just back this story up again, because we're gonna find out what Esau, who he is. Let's go to let me see. Let's find out. Let me get that. What was that? 1 Samuel
15 and 9.
1 Samuel 15 line. Let me follow along with you here. Hold on a minute. 1 Samuel 15. We're going to find out what the Most High asked Saul to do. See, what did I say? 1 Samuel 15 and 9? Okay, 1 Samuel 15 and 9. Let's find out. 1 Samuel 15 and okay, let's investigate this story a little bit. Now, let's go back to verse 3. Go, I want you to, thus says Samuel, then the Lord sent anointing. Okay, so remember, okay. Go to 15 and 2.
Don't concert.
1 Samuel 15 and 2.
1 Samuel 15 verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that which Amalek did to Israel.
See what he did, what Amalek did to Israel. Ain't finished reading. Go ahead.
How he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt.
Okay, this is like an ambush. We're gonna find out who Amalek was. Still violent. We're gonna find out who this is. What did Amalek do? Let's read that again. Verse 15 and 2.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt.
Okay, when he came up from Egypt. Now this is talking about the real Egypt, where Amalek over there, he laid wait and ambushed our people. And they read in the Most High, Samuel was telling Samuel was trying to tell Saul what the Most High wanted him to do, to let's get rid of these Amaleks. Because those are the people over there in Israel right now, the Amalekites, the Amalek. That's who that is, okay? And we'll find out who he is in a second here. Go ahead, finish reading.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Now go and smite Amalek.
Do what?
Smite Amalek.
That means smite him. Okay, that means to kill him. Go ahead.
And utterly destroy all that they have.
Now, this is the Most High. This is a commandment here. He's telling them, he told Saul to do what? Start from verse 3.
Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have.
All that they have. And do what?
And spare them not.
Spare them not. And go finish reading.
But slay both man and woman, infant and suckling ox, and sheep, camel, and ass.
Now, if Saul would have done this, we would have to deal with the Amalekites right now. Okay, let's go down. But what does Saul do? Let's go down to go to verse 5. Let's see what that says.
Okay. 1 Samuel 15 verse 5. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and lay wait in the valley.
Okay, Saul was supposed, he did what, so far he's doing what he's supposed to do. Go down to verse 7. Let's read, let's pick it up there.
Verse 7. And Saul smote the Amalekites.
The Amalekites.
Yes, like
Amalekites.
Amalekites.
There you go.
From
Havilah.
From Havilah until thou comest to Shur. That is over against Egypt.
Okay, but this happened over in Egypt, but let's finish reading. In verse 8, let's find out what this is. Because this I'm reading this to show you how Esau and Edom surfaces again. He's still violent. But let's just read verse 8. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites.
Amalekites, that's right. That's all right, that's fine. You're doing good, trooper.
Alive, and utterly destroyed them, all the people, with the edge of the sword.
Now, let's do the significant thing here. He said he took Agag, the king of Amalekites, alive. Those are those same Amalek people over there in Israel right now. Those people. And they are white. They are the red people.
Right.
That's who that is. They are the people, they are the enemy. They're the people that are over there right now that are flourishing in our stead. Those are the Amalekites. That's King Agag, he spared King Agag. I'm just showing you here in the Bible that Samuel should have wiped them out.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, Saul should have wiped them out. That's what Samuel did. We know what happened to Saul later on for not doing it. Fell on his sword. He didn't obey the Most High. He should have did. When the Most High give you a law, this is the law class. When the Most High give you a law, a statute of commandment, that means you have to keep that law, statute, of commandment. And let's read verse 8 again. Let's find out what he did. And he did what?
And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites,
very good,
alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword.
Read verse 9.
But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep.
That's good. That's good enough. So he spared King Agag. And we're going to read a little bit further here where, we're going to find a little bit further here and show you where King Agag's people surfaced again. Here is Esau right here. There he is. Agag. That's Amalekites. That's Esau. That's Esau's people. We'll show you where he's coming up. Anyway, let's go. Let's find out the Agagites surfaced in Persia. Let's go. Let's find out. I'm sorry. Samuel told Saul to kill these Amalekites, but he didn't do it. That's why we still got him still on the scene, But all these things, the Most High said, get rid of them. That's the reason why when he said, kill them all, destroy them all, So let's go. Let's read about. Let's go to the book of Esther. Let's find out. Let's find out a little bit more how you see that King Agag was left over and spared. That means he has a seed to pass on. Let's find out where his seed did again. Let's go to Esther. Let's go to Esther 3:1. Let's find out a little bit more about that. Let's go to Esther 3:1. We have a day of Purim coming up here a little bit. I believe it's this month, and we're going to read about it here. Let's go to Esther 3:1, and let's find out. This is a story depicted, back when we were in the captivity of Persia. That would be over in Iran, somewhere over in there, Persia. And so let's pick it up. Let's pick up the story where Esau surfaces again, where his violence is coming out again, because Amalek laid in the wait to kill us, violent again. That's his nature, He and the Most High said, Saul, wipe them all out, but he left Agag there again. So read verse 3:1. Let's pick up the story. Let's find out why he surfaces again. Go ahead.
Esther 3:1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of
Hammedatha. There you go. Very good. The what?
The Agag.
The Agagite. Okay. And there he surfaced again. So let's read it again. Go ahead. Esther 3:1.
After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of
Hammedatha. The Agagite.
The Agagite.
Okay. And did what to him?
And advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
This says the Agagite. That means that the king had passed his seed all the way down to Haman. There's Esau again, popping up again in the Persian Empire. Now he's came from the womb, Esau to Edom. Now he's an Agagite. Esau, Edom, Idumea. Now he surfaced himself. And what did the king do? This is the king of Persia's kings there. What did he do? Pick it up again.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate.
No. Go back to start over. Read back to verse 1. Esther 3:1.
Esther 3:1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite.
There you go.
And advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Here he is. Esau wanted to stand up and be promoted. Don't that sound like what he wanted to be? He wanted to be always on top because he can ready to do some wickedness more. In other words, he got to get himself, he got to be the president of this. He's got to be the head of this. Right. So he can get himself in the cut to do what? To cut us off. That's what the king of Persia was putting Esau back in some more power right there. Read verse 2. Let's find out something here. Go ahead.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed. And
They did what?
bowed.
They did what?
Bowed.
They bowed. Now you know that's against the Most High. You know that is not something that the Most High wants the blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians to do. Go ahead. And did what?
Bowed.
And
reverenced Haman.
And reverenced Haman. See, the Most High, all the king's servants that were within the king's gate. This is what, it didn't take him a second before he got people to want to sit down and bow and break the Most High's laws. It didn't take him a second that he reverenced Haman. It didn't take him 1 second, okay? It didn't take him but 1 second. A few seconds later, he was out there, all right, bow before me. Isn't that sound like what Esau wants to do? Because he's getting ready to fatten something up so he can kill it. That's what he's always done, right? Read that again in verse 2.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. For the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not.
Mordecai did what?
Bowed not.
Did what?
Bowed not.
Mordecai bowed not. Nor did what?
Nor did him reverence.
Nor did him reverence. See, you ain't got no business bowing in reverence to anybody. Unless the Most High asks you to. You know, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shah. You know, you ain't got no, even the angels say, oh, don't bow before me, I'm your fellow servant. But Mordecai knew. See, here we are. Here's another commandment. We talked about not eating the swine as a law, pray without ceasing. And now the Most High is saying, look here. Mordecai saying, he's saying to himself, no, I ain't bound to you. Who are you? He knew who he was. He knew he was an Agagite, that same King Agag's ancestor. The same people that are over in Israel right now taking our stead. Let's read that again. Verse 2. Pick it up in verse 2.
Esther, chapter 3, verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. For the king had so committed concerning him.
Right.
But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
Okay, good. And drop that for a second, where you can hold or drop it to either one. Psalms 111 and 5. Let's find out, because in Exodus 20 and 5. Let's pick up Psalms 111 and 5 and show you there's a law against not reverencing people. Let's see what the Most High says about that. Because Mordecai knew better than to bow and say, who is this man? Just cause King Ahasuerus appointed you, don't mean I'm gonna bow down in your presence, in your stead. That doesn't mean it. This is the King Agagite, the same king that Saul should have killed. This same heathen, violent, wicked nature Haman, you want to call him, or Haman, still wanted to come over here, come in the presence while we're in captivity and say, Mordecai, bow down. That's what he wanted to do. So let's pick it up. Let's explain here what Mordecai didn't do, because let me show you why he didn't do it, because he understood this. Read Psalms 111 and 5.
Come on. Psalms 111 and 5. He hath given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be mindful of his covenant.
That's right. Finish reading that.
Verse 6. He has shewed his people the power of his works.
Right.
That he may give them the heritage of the heathen. Verse 7.
Let me turn to that. What did I say? Psalms 111. Make sure I get the right time. I know that's what it is. Psalms 11. I want to make sure I get the full meaning out of it. Psalms 111. Okay, good. Okay, yeah, got you. Go down. Skip down to. I'm sorry, it's lucky. Skip down to verse 9. Psalms 111 and 9. That's what I meant. Okay.
He sent redemption unto his people.
He did what?
Sent redemption unto his people.
Okay.
He have commanded his covenant forever.
This is a commandment, a covenant forever that did what?
Holy and reverend his.
Holy and what?
Reverend.
Holy and what?
Reverend.
Holy and reverend is what?
Is his name.
Holy and reverend is his name. The Most High said, Mordecai understood that. So reverence is given not to Haman. He said holy and reverence is his name. He is the one to be revered when you revere something. You know, when you reverence something, when you revere it. Let's look that word up. Do we got that word over here? Let's see. Let's see if we can look it up in the Zondermans here. If we can't, we'll find it over here. Holy and reverence. So read that again for me, if you could.
Psalms 111 verse 9.
Right, Con.
He sent redemption unto his people. He have commanded his covenant forever.
Okay.
Holy and reverend is his name.
The Most High is talking about holy and reverence is his name. You ain't got no business going around bound in front of any old man. I mean, you know, and that's what all these wicked pastors, want you to do. Oh, call me the holy right reverend, you know. Am I right, officer? Call me the holy right reverend. The Catholic Church wants you to bow down to them and say, call me reverend. Yeah?
I got the definition.
You got it? Go ahead. Read that for me. Go ahead.
Reverend, used as a title
Mm-hmm.
or form of address to members of the clergy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's finish reading that because that's what they want you to do. We don't want that definition. It's not a reverend. Is not a mission. Is part of the clergy. I mean, that's what reverend. You don't revere those people. That's what the wicked people in these Christian church and the Catholic Church want you to understand. Finish reading that definition there.
That's all I got.
Well, if you really found out what reverence is, let me look it up here. Let me get it a little further here, because when you revere somebody, that's what the clergy wants you to do, like Reverend Ike and all those different people. That's why they put Reverend in front of their name, because they want you to look at them like God. The same thing as Haman did. That's what he wants you to do. But the Most High said it's actually against the law to do that. Let me see what it says. Have deep respect for someone or something. Ritual shows honor and reverence. Then it says regard and treat with deep respect many divine beings, reverend, the Hindu and all blah blah blah. But you know, this word reverend really to adore, to revere, to venerate, and the last one that's most important, or to worship. That's what they want you to do. They want you to worship them. If you get anything out of that word reverend, when somebody say revere me, bow down before me, they're saying reverence me. And the Most High said never. You don't do that. Let's turn to Exodus 20 and 5. Let's find out what the Most High says about bowing down. What Haman, this Agagite, tried to say about bowing down. He wanted people to bow the gates toward him. I mean, he's in the Persian Empire in Esther. Let's see what get Exodus 20 and 20 and 5. Let's see what the Most High tells you. Let's see what the Most High tells the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians about bowing down and reverencing something. Go ahead, read that for me if you have it.
Exodus 20 verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not bow down to thyself to them nor serve them.
That's right. Now read what was that? Read verse 4. Uh-huh.
Come.
Go ahead.
On the same chapter, right?
Read Esther 20 and 4.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus 20 verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath.
And then not what?
Or that is in the water under the earth. Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down.
Thou shalt not what?
Bow down.
Not what?
Bow down.
You should not bow down to anything but the Most High. And that's what this is saying. And that's what Haman, this wicked Agagite, violent, who's the same as Esau, that's what he was. Because his daddy's seed, King Agag, you know, if you read about it, there's some study on it, his seed was passed on. Here Haman's surfacing again. here Esau surfacing up again, serving his violence, his plate on Persia, because we're in captivity. Persia was one of the places was captive. That looks so out of place to have Haman as being one of the people in there for you to worship, and you have amongst the Persians. I mean, how demanding you have to be to want to come and surface. Here he is in America, wants to surface in America and be. We got any comments on? Wants to surface in America and be part of that also. So Haman wanted to put himself in charge because he figured he gonna follow along just like his great granddaddy way back in 1 Samuel. Here he is in the Persian Empire saying to himself, okay, I'm gonna rule again. I'm gonna be part of all this. So let's find out. And Mordecai said, not so. That's what we just read. You don't bow down. There's another commandment. This is a law class. We're talking about the commandments. We're talking about Esau's violence, because all we want to do is keep the commandments anyway. Here, that's the Most High wants us to do, to keep these commandments and the laws and the statutes. And Mordecai said, no, I'm not going to bow. Daniel didn't bow. He didn't eat the king's meat. He prayed without ceasing. And so far, those are good examples of showing you not to keep that. And of course, the Most High didn't sin at all. He's trying to tell you, this is something that you shouldn't even be doing. You shouldn't be bound down to referencing the Hamans of the world or the Esau's of the world. And that's exactly what you're doing when you go to these Christian churches, because they were founded by the Roman Empire. Listen, even before the Roman Empire in Persia, here's Haman telling you to bow down. She started a whole religion of bowing, did he not? He started a whole religion of trying to bow down in front of, want you to bow down in front of people. That's what the Most High is telling you not to do, okay? So violence. So let's find out a little bit more about Haman. Let's go to what's that? Esther. Because Esther 3 and 5 and 6, because he didn't. What did I say? Esther 3, 5 and 6. Take your time. Esther 3, 5 and 6. Haman, he was full of wrath and mad, just like Esau, just like Edom. He's angry because Mordecai wouldn't bow. Still violent. Let's find out, because we're going to find out what his little story is here in a second here. We got, what did I say, Esther 3, 5, and 6. And it's right there in the middle. You take your time. Well, I'll read it if you got it.
I got it, sir.
Okay, you got it?
Okay.
Esther 3 and what? Read 5 again. Let's find out what he did. Let's find out about Haman. What he wanted Mordecai. Mordecai was actually, let me give you a little history about Mordecai. Mordecai was a Benjamite. He's a Benjamite brother. He was one of us. And he was in captivity and said, no, I'm not gonna bow down in front of you. That's the same thing we should be doing. Bowing down in front, wanting to bow down is like going to the Christian church. The same thing. So let's read that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Esther 3 verse 5, chapter 3 verse 5.
Right.
And when Haman saw Mordecai, bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Full of wrath. Now, full of wrath is the same thing as being violent. When you're wrathful, vengeful, and read that again. Read that again from top, verse 5.
Verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
He was full of wrath. That's exactly what you see every day in our streets. We've been hunted. We've been pepper sprayed. We've been choked out. Name it. We've been shot in the back, full of wrath. Now, they didn't say half of wrath. It says full Okay, so let's read that verse 6. Go there. Esther 3 and 6.
Verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay his hands
Go ahead.
on Mordecai alone.
Now here you go. Here's that laying hands again. Now I ain't talking about some heal, out of them phony Christian churches. Lay hands, he wants to strike a blow against Mordecai again. The same wickedness that Esau wanted to do against Jacob. Here, the same character, the same wicked spirit is in Haman because he's an Agagite, because King Agag, the Most High told him to kill him because he had the spirit of Esau, because he is. Okay, so that's what Haman. He was an Agagite. That's what Haman was. Okay, that's why we read the story. And he did what? Read the verse, pick it up at verse 6.
And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shewed him the people of Mordecai, where Haman sought to destroy all the Jews.
Destroy what?
All the Jews.
Destroy what?
All the Jews.
All of the Jews. Keep reading.
That were thought out.
Throughout
the whole kingdom of Ashurus. Even the people of Mordecai.
See, Haman just didn't want to bow in reverence. Now he said, well, he wants to have wrath. Now he's mad. He's steaming mad. Just like Esau is on the street right now. He not only wanted to be wrathful against Mordecai, he wanted to destroy. Read that again. Wherefore Haman, pick it up. Wherefore Haman sought. Read from top. Go ahead, read from top.
Verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai.
Okay.
Alone, for they had shewed him to the people of Mordecai.
Right.
Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews.
All the Jews, and finish reading.
That were throughout the whole kingdom of Ashurus.
That's good. He wanted to destroy all of the Jews. That's us. When it says Jews here, it's talking about the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Okay. He wanted to destroy us. He wanted to destroy us. We sit up here in captivity. He wanted to destroy us. He wanted to destroy us because Haman is wicked. And Mordecai said, I'm not bowing in reverence, because he kept the commandments even in captivity. And that's what you're going to go through. So let's find out. Let's go to verse. Keep that same chapter, Esther 5. Go to verse 14. Okay. Let's see what Haman tried to do, because basically Haman. This is the story where Esther is picked up and having to get mercy to the king because she was favored by the king. Matter of fact, he took Vashti out, I think, called her Hadassah, and made her queen over Vashti. We got time to get into a whole lot of the story, but Mordecai was the uncle to Esther, and that's what this story picks up. And Esther sitting up here, Benjamin said, I'm not bound to you. Matter of fact, he told Esther to stay. That means, keep your purity before the Most High. But kid, finish reading here. Verse 14. Give me Esther 5 and 14. What did Haman try to do here with his wicked self? We're talking about Esau, Edom. He's still violent, and let's show you what he did, because this is what they've been trying to do to us all along. 5 and 14. Esther 5 and 14.
Come, got it. Esther 5 verse 14. Mm-hmm. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him.
Okay.
Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon.
Maybe what?
Hanged thereon.
Mordecai was so angry. Now here's Haman. What do y'all see about this right here? Then said Zeresh, his wife. Read that again.
Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him. Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon.
May be hanged thereon. That is, you can't be more violent than to go and hang a person for no reason. But all he did was keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's what Esau, Edom, and Idumea, and now Haman picked it up because that's who he is. You know, the Amalekites, and the Agagites, King Agag. That if you looked at that, they was named after his granddaddy. He is an Amalekite, and he wanted all of the Jews to die, but he first wanted to put Haman on the 50-foot high on tomorrow and hang him. But I want you to, guys, in the chat, I want you to show me what in this verse, what did you see his wife doing? What's wrong with that? Why is his wife sticking out in here like a sore thumb, trying to tell Haman what to do? That's just like Esau's women, always want to stick. See, we keep the law, statute, commandment, but what did his wife do right here that was not right? What did his wife do? We'll type it in the chat. See if you can pick it up in the chat there. What did his wife do? If y'all still out there, I'm sure you are. What did his wife do right here? What was she doing and helping her husband Haman, this wicked Agagite, or this wicked Esau, same thing, Idumea, Esau, Edom? What did she do right here? Well, she's sticking her little nose in it. What did she do? What did she do? I'll give you guys a few seconds here. Read that again from Esther 5 and 14.
Verse 14. Then says Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him. Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high.
That's good enough. So Zeresh sitting up here talking, and all the friends talking. What do you see that Zeresh did that we don't do? They don't talk too much about who Zeresh was, but other than being Haman's wife, we know Haman was Esau. He was Edom. What does Zeresh do? Y'all put it, show me in the comments, and we'll give you 15, 20 seconds more. What does Zeresh do? Why? What's she doing? What is she doing there talking and telling Haman what to do? What's she doing? Give you a few more seconds here. Got a little time. What in other words, this is the understanding of how wicked even his wife and his children. But for the sake of time, I don't know if you guys got it in there, for the sake of time, Zeresh shouldn't have been even telling Haman what to do at all. But that's later on, we'll show you what happened. But she said, read it from the top there. Then who?
Then says Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him. Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high. And tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon.
May be hanged thereon. Zeresh sitting up here out of order. Edging him on. Go hang him. Because he's going to do it anyway because he's violent and wicked anyway. He's violent. That's what he is. That's what the Agagite is. He's, in this Persian Empire that they were in back then, the Esau surfacing again, being violent against the children of Israel, against this Benjamite and all of the Jews. Okay? Let's read it. So he tried to hang him. And of course, I don't want to get into too much of the story, but go to Esther 7, 8, and 9. Let's find out what Haman was doing. After that, Haman, basically what Haman, I'm kind of going through this real rapid because it takes a long while to go through this. But let's go to Esther 7, and let's find out a little bit more about Haman, this Edomite. you know, but he's still trying to be violent, even against our people, violent against this Benjamite, you know, because that's what he is. 7, 8. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, let's go to 7. Let's go to verse 6. And king answered the queen who go to verse 5, because basically we'll pick it up in verse 5 here. Go ahead. Because what it is King Ahasuerus basically was saying to Esther the queen, because he made him queen, because he was fair, you know. This is who he wanted. He wanted to see what his queen, which is Esther was a Hebrew Israelite. She was us, you know. She was apparently probably a Benjamite, because that was Mordecai's niece. Okay, so pick it up in verse 6 here. Let's find out, because he's going to put a thwart in the story of Haman. Go ahead, verse 6.
Esther, chapter 7, verse 5.
Yeah, go ahead. 5 is good enough.
Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther, the queen, who is he, and where is he that durst presumed in his heart to do so? To do so. Basically, he was telling him that somebody wanted to hang Mordecai. Who is this? Finish reading. Verse 6. Verse 6. Mm-hmm. And Esther said, the adversary and the enemy is the wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. Okay. And Haman. And so basically Esther told on Haman, you know, because Esther, that's why she has this book, because she was a prominent figure, because she helped us off of these gallows from being hanged. She got close to her king. Finish reading. Let's go to verse, read verse 7. Sorry. Verse 7. And the king arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life. Haman's going to he realized that he's getting ready to get killed, because this table is turned on him for his violence against Jacob, his violence against this Benjamite Mordecai, that's us, for his violence, and Esther, for he wanted to hang us, man, and kill us. Let's finish reading. To Esther, the queen, to Esther, the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him. See, evil determined against him. That's what Esther was basically telling the king. And Haman was scared now. See, read that verse 7 again. Okay. Verse 7. And the king arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make request for his life. He was scared. Go ahead, finish reading. To Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. And the king was getting ready to take him out of here for lying, and basically because Mordecai didn't want to bow down to him and reverence him, and Esther told the story basically. And that's how they got to it. Read verse 8 here. Let's find out. Let me show you how Esau got desperate, because he wanted to be violent and wicked and kill us like he's doing nowadays. You know, go to verse 8 here. Let's show you how this devil is gotten himself to the point where saying, now he's scared now, because he done erected these gallows. Let's go to verse 8. Verse 8. Mm-hmm. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed. Now what does this mean? He has fallen upon the bed where Esther was. Now this wicked Edomite is going to fall in here on Esther, the king's Esther's bed. Has he lost his mind? This is how wicked he is. This is how violent this man. Now he want to rape Esther. See, now here's another law that he's got messed up.
You know, we don't a law that he's trying to go against us again. Now he want to rape Esther. See, we keep the laws. We don't rape people. We don't eat the king's portion of meat. We pray without ceasing. We don't revere and bow down before these gods. And here this man now, he wants to do what? Haman wanted to what? Fall on the bed? Pick it up right there. Haman was...
And Haman was falling upon the bed, whereon Esther was.
Finish.
Then said the king, will he force the queen?
Will he what?
Force the queen.
Will he what?
Force the queen. He
wanted to force the queen. If that ain't rape, I don't know what is. He wanted to. This is violence, man. This is how violent and wicked this bastard is.
Right.
This is violence. Wow. What we got some of the comments over there?
Good night.
Who's right there?
Brother Shaw.
Officer Shaw, yeah, good night. Yeah. He's violent, man. Wanted to fall on the bed. Finish picking it up. Then the king said, what now?
Oh, sorry,
That's no problem. I'll pick it up. I'll read it here.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, go ahead.
Then he said, the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
It's basically what this is saying. You got your wife in the house and she's coming telling you a story how this man right here tried to hang our children and all that. and then he's gonna, while the king is going out to find his gun, this man is violent enough to go, I guess he wanted to say, see, your queen ain't all so good, she's sleeping with me. Right. This fool sat up here and wanted to do what? Read that. This wicked bastard. Go ahead.
Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
In this house? He's asking a question. The king said, is he a fool? Basically said, is he a fool? Is he that crazy?
Right.
Okay, finish reading.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face.
They did what?
Haman's face.
Covered Haman's face. In other words, he's getting ready to get what he deserved. This devil, heathen, wicked, Agagite, Edomite, Idumea, Esau out of the womb of Rebekah, his ancestor Haman, tried to force the queen Esther and lay down on the bed and force her. That's wanted to rape her. Like we see some of these fake Israelite groups wanting to go around and rape anybody.
Right.
You know, well, that's a whole nother story. So what? Let's go to the conclusion of Haman here. We'll get off that for a second. Read verse 10. What happened to Haman?
Esther 7 verse 10.
Gone.
So they hanged Haman on the gallows.
Go ahead.
That he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Wow. They hang Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai, before the Benjamite. See, he wanted to hang us, and that's what happened to him. That this wicked Haman wanted to, he was desperate. He wanted to lay himself on the bed and try to all I can think is that he just wanted to lay on the bed to try to deface and defraud Esther. So he's gonna sit up there in the king's house. I mean, you gotta be bold. So Esau not only is violent, he's a bold, wicked, profane bastard. You can't be no profane than that to come to a man's house and want to rape his wife.
Right.
That's basically what that amounts to. Talking about keeping the laws, they had no idea what's going on. Wasn't given to them. So Esau, all he knows is take. Just do what he want to do. Right. Wow. He was hanged. He was hanged on the gallows. And of course, there's more stories I can read about Herod. I don't know if we have enough time here. But basically, in Esau's violence against us, it was fed to the lions. We die all the day long. We were fed to the lions in the Roman Empire. The Wall Street, Oklahoma, they bombed our people. Why? Because Esau prospered, and he wanted to be more prosperous. So here we are making money, having our own economy. And Esau, what he do? Drop bombs. More violence. Because that's what he is. He can't help it. Okay? And Birmingham, Alabama. Now, how anybody can bomb little girls in a church down there? Actually, I've been down to that church. I saw what that bombing is. I think they left it. Did they rebuild it? I can't remember now. I think they left it the same, I believe. And they kind of made a museum out of it. Right there on the street in Birmingham, downtown Birmingham, Alabama, where they bombed these 4, I believe, I can't remember how many girls it was now. They bombed these little girls. There's an article I had written about it, but I don't know if I have time. The Birmingham bombing of the little girls. Read about it when you get time. How violent Esau still is. The same Esau. The same Esau. Now, he didn't surface in the Persian Empire's haven. He surfaced as an Agagite, the Amalekites way back in Saul's days. You know, and now the Amalekites are still over in Israel right now, bobbing their head and putting notes in the wall, and still the same people that came out of the womb, Esau, Edom, Idumea. Make no mistake about it, Esau still is violent. And he's going around bombing people. Dylan Roof massacred people in Charleston, South Carolina. Massacred them because that stuff don't happen at ISUPK. That's why we have people on the shore, on Shamar. And you come to one of our schools, we're protected here. We make sure we don't let nobody bother us up in here. Right. You come up here, you're gonna have a misunderstanding up in here. Am I right? Right. You gonna have a misunderstanding. We got officers up here, we got troopers. We're gonna have a misunderstanding. We'll rearrange all this furniture around here. You come up here trying to be violent against us. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. We're not violent in nature, but we're gonna protect ourselves in ISUPK. We're gonna protect ourselves against the violence of Jacob. We didn't let nobody Dylan Roof us, just come up here and just take over. And Esau, 21-year-old man, killing 9 black people in the church. That's how violent he was. And then what they do to him afterwards, gave him a Happy Meal. Gave him a burger because of his violence. Here, we're going to reward you with your violence against Jacob, you know. And then the most recent, of course, we've been talking about it. Handcuffed and pepper sprayed a little girl in Rochester. The officer claiming he couldn't do no better than that. What's wrong with these people? Why? Because they're violent against Jacob. They hunt our streets. We die. They burped some meat and thought about it. Thought about their hatred against us for losing their birthright, you know. And what do? We die. But the Most High did this so that we can get ourselves together. Esau is put over us. He put over us in charge. He's going to be violent. He's going to be violent. His behavior is going to change. And until we keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what this law class is about. And we're talking about it on Wednesday night, Officer Kazan's part. That's what we're talking about right now on the ISUPK. And Commander General Yohana has told us to keep the Most High's laws, to tell the people, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, not the John 3:16 people, because all of them can't, they're not with, the Most High could care less. He could care less about the other people. He don't care about them. They're like a drop in the bucket, 2nd Esdras 6:54. He don't care about it. So basically, I'm saying to you, when Daniel, Mordecai, they keeping laws. Esther, you know, there are many, many, many more. I just picked out some because we don't really have a whole lot all of the time to go over every last one of them. But Mordecai kept the laws. He didn't bow. He didn't reverence. Daniel didn't bow. He prayed without ceasing. And Esther did what she did. Made sure this Haman fool didn't rape her. And the Lord basically allowed us to keep in our captivity the best we could. You know, we got our heads cut off, you know, for going against violence. We got our head cut off for doing stuff like that. And that's letting you know that this wicked bastard is still at large. all we have to do basically is to tie him down. Let's turn to Obadiah. Let's find out. All we got to do, let's see what all we got to do is keep the commandments of the Most High. Let's find out what the end of him gonna be. Let's find out in Obadiah what his end is gonna be. What's the end of Esau? Idumea, for being violent against us. What's the Most High God prepared for him? You know, that should give you enough understanding to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Basically it says right here, Obadiah 1 and 10, real quick here. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and you shall be cut off forever. You know, you're gonna be cut off forever. That will be your end. That's what's gonna be for you. For being violent from the beginning. You know. Verse 8. Shall not on that day the Lord destroy the wise men. Okay, yeah. Now, basically, because you were violent against the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Most High says He's going to cut you off forever. You know, and I hope and I pray you understand that you guys understand who Esau is and why he is violent, how he attacked us all through the eras of time, you know, and that's what he is, you know, and all we have to do is to get back to the Most High, Lord's statutes, commandments, so the Most High can cut Esau down and cut him off.
Right.
And that's the end of our class. We'll clap it up. That's the end of our class, and we're going to stand up and I'm going to stand up and read the ISUPK announcements. We got any no chats? Okay. Good. Hope you guys enjoyed the class and have an understanding of who Esau, Idumea, and Edom is, and Haman, and all these, and Mordecai, and how we all fit. I'm sorry, Salakia, and Haman, and Herod. We didn't get a chance to get into Herod, but how the violence against Jacob is being put out in the street right now against all of us that are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians by the wicked Esau. Okay, the ISUPK security announcements. Salakia. We are the ISUPK, started off 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. The rule for the new brother and sister: when a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8 and 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara. We're going to go over that Friday. I'll be teaching Lashawan Kodash class. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. You know, we have Purim. Of course, we went over it a little bit today in talking about Esau. The 14th day, the 15th, and the 15th day of the 12th month. Thursday, February 25th. Friday, February 26th, 2021. Esther 9:30-31. That's the Purim. Then we're going to have that. Of course, we're going to have the Passover in Houston, Texas. I think it starts April 22nd and goes all the way to that Sunday. I believe that's the 25th or 26th. I can't. 14th day of the first month, Thursday, April 22nd, I believe. Yes. 2020 at sundown. Esther 12, Exodus 12:1 and 51. Leviticus 23:4 and 5. 1 Corinthians 5:7 and 8. And 2 Corinthians 30 and 1. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai to all my brothers. Yahweh Shemai, Isle of Thah by Shem, Yahweh Shai to all my sisters. For that we say, Shalom.